This is Pear Shaped in Dystopia. Every Wednesday night at 8:30. Yes, it's Pear Shaped, and we hope you'll come to see us and don't be late. Yes, it's Pear Shaped. It's just a favour to come in, and we hope that you'll be coming back again to Pear Shaped in Dystopia. Every Wednesday night at 8:30.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Pear Shaped in Dystopia, London's second worst online comedy club. We did have the second worst earthbound comedy club, but now we're trying to conquer the universe. Last week and the week before were both, as the artist would say, they were both fucking shambles. But this week we've actually got off to what looks like a reasonable
We're actually
start.
in the same room on the computer.
Yeah.
And live.
And the computer hasn't
happened yet.
Exploded or anything like that. I've spent the whole week squirming in embarrassment at our previous mistakes and doing everything I could to make sure they didn't happen again. But I was convinced that this week we were going to make it a hat trick. So far, it looks all right to us.
We don't want
actually.
to jinx it, but,
No.
you know, it's the best start so far.
It is, yes.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, but don't worry, because we're going to put some acts on, so it might not be all our fault. But we'll do the best we can to make sure that it sort of works. I don't have any new material. I haven't written any for about 10 years, and I don't see why I should start now. I think it was good enough for the Romans. It's good enough for us. So
I'd like to dedicate this show to Trump fucking off.
Oh,
I think that's
all right.
Yeah, I'm happy about that.
I was going to do a song, so, you know, oh, Donald is leaving tonight on a plane, but I thought, nah, fuck that. I hate
he
parodies.
doesn't deserve it.
I hate them.
Yeah.
So, but I think what we could do is everybody's getting out, you know, I'm just a walking that dog, doing all that sort of stuff. If they're allowed out at all, if they do go out, a dog is a good excuse, isn't it? So this is for all the dog lovers who are trying as hard as they can to survive. Me and my dog, we're the best of friends. Me and my dog, we're the best of friends. He loves me, he needs me, he comes when I call. My girlfriend, she hates me, she won't come at all. Me and my dog, we're the best of friends. Me and my dog, we're the best of friends.
Do you want to go talking?
What?
Do you want to go talking?
Where?
Talking.
Tockenham? Sydney parking? No. It's rough. It's rough. It's too rough. Rough. He loves me. He needs me. He comes when I call. My girlfriend, she hates me. She won't come.
Right, should we put the first act on?
Yeah, I think we should actually. Who is it? Oh, it's Lewis. It's Lewis Bryan.
Thank you. It's good to be here. London's second worst comedy club online, Pear Shaped in Dystopia, club that launched on the same night that American democracy was crumbling. So I'm sure you got a lot of viewers on that first night, or everyone locked in their houses. It's been obviously really difficult for all of us. I've had to do things I didn't think I'd ever do. I'm listening to the Peter Crouch podcast. A lot of tall stories there, I have to say. I'm not sure I'm fully on board with all of them, but it's got a lot of reach, so that's good. Just saw in the news that Phil Spector has died of COVID. We had a few deaths, obviously. Bobby Ball died, Eddie Large died, so looking forward to the new comedy act that will be coming out, Little and Ball. So yeah, that will be good. Tim Brooke Taylor died. That's really sad. But I am hoping that at least one of the goodies makes it into their 80s, just so that I can say, well, he's an oldie, but he's a goodie. So we'll see where that goes. I became single in December 2019, so I was really looking forward to getting out and meeting people during 2020. That's not worked out quite so well. There we go. And lockdown's been difficult for me, and obviously for a lot of comedians, you know, because we've had a whole year of Donald Trump in office and nowhere to do any gigs and jokes about the twat. So that was really difficult. I saw that Nigella Lawson, her recipe of the day on the day Trump leaves the White House is bitter orange tart. So yeah, that's about it. And then you got people, all these lovely people that have died from COVID, and Cliff Richard, still alive. Alan Titchmarsh, still alive. Boris Johnson, still alive and not in a ditch. So, yeah, it's been tough. I'll go back to my old shit stuff now. So, I mean, it's been good though this year, I have to say, you know, getting letters from the HMRC. They've been in touch. For once, I'm getting some money from them. So that's been good. I grew up in a rough area with no money. My mum didn't have a house when she was pregnant with me. Growing up, she used to say, when I gave birth to you, I was squatting. We had this tradition of clothes being handed down through the generations. I got a bit pissed off going to school in 14th century clothes. I thought that was taking it a bit too far. I remember once going there with a big round hat with a big feather sticking out the top, a cloak and a sword. And they sent me home, didn't like my cavalier attitude. So there we go. Things have moved on now. I've got two kids. I've got a 19-year-old and a 28-year-old. Now, to look at me, you might be quite surprised. I've had sex twice. But there we are. We actually lived in Dartford for a while, so, you know, luck's not got much better. Dartford's probably famous for one thing, tunnel, which was actually dug by people trying to escape from Dartford. Bit gutted when they got to the other side, found themselves in Essex. Not as gutted as the people from Essex who built this big bridge, found themselves in Dartford. We had some weird neighbours. I remember once had to ask the man from next door if he wouldn't mind turning the music down and going back to his own house. We didn't really get on, and he used to throw bread out for the birds, and even the birds didn't really like him, so this bread started to pile up, and then we got rats. I thought, I know, what am I going to do now, you know, rats, so I know poison, so I killed him. Yeah, well, always a pleasure to do this gig. Good to see Anthony Miller back where he belongs, at London's second worst comedy club. It's a slick operation we've got here, and Anthony will probably tell you, you know, because at least Pear Shaped's still going, you know, whereas Croydon have managed to bankrupt itself. So comparing that to Croydon, we are a much more slick operation. Thank you, Bryan, Krysstal, and Anthony, and that's it from me. Thank you.
Lewis Bryan, the one and only Lewis Bryan, worrying about how much time he's done. You don't have to worry about that. You can give up at any point, as I suspect I will at any moment, because it's a bit weird. It's like, so it seems sort of doing a gig without an audience is an exercise in weird sort of pointlessness. It's just bizarre. It's like when they tried to make the Leaning Tower of Pisa stand up again, which they did actually manage, but it was a big exercise in geology, and the Italian government didn't want to do it, but the UN said, well, it's a World Heritage Site, and they said, well, we don't want to do it, but it's going to cost a lot of money, and this argument went on. It went all the way up to Silvio Berlusconi, and eventually they came to Silvio and they said, well, Silvio, you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to save the Leaning Tower of Pisa, or it's the end. And he said, yeah, I understand your point of view, but on the other hand, we could do nothing and save ourselves 30 million euros. So let that sink in. So there we are. It's a joke. It was a joke earlier, but it has no reaction whatsoever. Yeah.
Come all the way from the other room to tell you this is shit.
All right. Okay.
No, not really. Lewis was all right.
All right.
Shit.
Okay, yeah.
Don't let me have to come in here again.
All right then. Yeah. So there we are. That's criticism for you. But we have an audience. You just can't see her all the time. Good. So yeah, this is like well, bizarre, isn't it? Yeah, it's sort of like madness. The way things. I just think we could have done things better. Like we closed the schools so that we could open. We closed the pubs so that we could open the schools, but we haven't opened the schools. What?
Boo!
Yeah. So well, yeah, good. I think I'm going to put an act on because I think I've created enough hilarity just sitting in this chair.
I think it's actually quite a good idea to bring your own hecklers.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that
that's
works
very
quite well.
very nice of you to take time out of watching
And you didn't
television.
mention that Lewis's microphone sounded like shit. I bet you spent
no,
at
I
least
thought I
£2
glossed
on
that
that.
over.
Huh?
Yeah. It worked fine when he was sitting down. It's just when he stood
Yeah,
up.
but
It
it was,
did.
he was
Then everything
standing
fell
and
apart.
moving around. But anyway, never mind. Right.
Okay, well, we have survived so far. So can we have some love and appreciation, please, for Shaun Philip Hutchings?
She was pear-shaped in a dystopia. That's not fucking nice, is it? Being pear-shaped in a dystopia. You'd hope to be, I don't know, hourglass-shaped or something like that. Put that thing down. Pear-shaped in a dystopia. Ah, here I am living in Sheerness, famed for its mudslides, its scorpions, which when you shine an ultraviolet light on them, they become ultraviolet, sort of orange, clockwork orange. It's strange. I only came here because I got 9 fingers due to well, last time I did a gig I had 10 fingers, but that's another story. Well, what happened, you see, is I wanted to buy Tom Waits's Nighthawks at the Diner, 1975 masterpiece album. And so I went on eBay to find a copy at the Art Institute of Chicago, and they sent me the Nighthawks 1942 masterpiece by Edward Hopper. 75 million quid I'm not going to get back. And I think it's fake. It's a piece of shit, isn't it? I mean, fucking hell, 75 million quid. When I would have got, if I was going to get an American masterpiece, I suppose I would have gone for American Gothic for 150 million. I think it's 17 years since I last did a gig. Yeah. It's also 17 years since I left the Association for the Abolition of Prime Numbers, an organisation that's existed for 503 years. I know. What do I do next? It reminds me of that time I was walking along in Cornwall and I found myself a lovely rock pool. A rock pool. So I decided to become a seal for a week. I tired of my humanity, decided to find my inner seality. but I was accused of cultural appropriation and was asked to leave Cornwall. Oh. I was going to do some old material, but it's on YouTube and it's got 150 watches. I mean, it's taken 10 years. My other film, this isn't even a lie, which is called Bypass, Wainscott Bypass, 1998. A video of a bypass in a place called Wainscott in an obscure part of Strood, which is an obscure town in Kent, which has 350. So I thought, might as well do new shit, which I wrote today, about the time I gave up cigarettes 17 years ago. No, I've done that, haven't I? Oh, this is like the old days when it all go fucked up. Never mind. Karen Carpenter and Elvis Presley, Southern Snuffers. No one suffers when you Southern Snuffer. I think I'll just go into a stream of consciousness now, like when Lenny Bruce would do that bebop style form of stand-up, whereas I do a kind of Morris dancing form of stand-up. The kind of stand-up like, act like, you know, as Morris dancers say, dance like nobody's watching, because no one fucking is. So that's what I'm doing, Morris stand-up. Stand up like no one's watching, because no one fucking is. Oh, Sheerness though, reminds you of the 70s. All the dog shit. Miss dog shit. Well, I try to. Not easy around here. Yeah. There's an American lady I met in the sea. I'm not kidding, met in the sea. And she was saying they're trying to gentrify the place. Yeah, fucking right, when it stops looking like an apocalyptic death zone. I mean, the 5 miles driving in is the most terrifying sight this side of Detroit. Fucking Mad Max out on the marshes. Now I'm just making stuff up. No, that's true stuff. I wonder if my friend's on there, the one who chased chickens. She'll know. Oh, God. New material, eh? Almost as bad as the old stuff. I think I'll end with a song about stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up isn't funny anymore. I think I'll conclude on that. It must be 5 minutes, surely. This is like strange. You're just staring at a screen. Can I end?
Yes.
Can I end?
You
Hello?
certainly can. You certainly
Hope there
can.
wasn't too much suffering for you all. It has been 12 years or something stupid.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Shaun Philip Hutchings making a comeback after all those years. All those years. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. I had a girlfriend once.
Did you?
I did, yeah. And if I'd have played my cards right, I could have had her again. She was a warm, sensitive, artistic, intelligent, creative woman. No wonder it didn't work. I met her in a comedy club, charity night for epileptics, fucking had me in fits, I did. Her eyes met across the crowded room. Well, hers did. My mate said, she fancies you, ask her out. I said, right, you and me, outside, now. We went to one of those romantic little restaurants. She ordered all the most expensive stuff, 2 Big Macs, 2 large fries. She said, there's nothing quite like a McDonald's, is there? I said, no, not fucking food-wise, there isn't, no. Do you know, I reckon McDonald's is the only food that looks better coming out than it did going in. She reckons it tastes better as well. Doesn't. Saw a sign the other day, drive through McDonald's. I thought, that's a fucking good idea. I looked deep into her eye. I lied about the other one. I said, I want you to have my baby. She said, why? What's wrong with it? She said, look, before you start getting all romantic, I want to tell you about all the men that slept with in the past. I said, you told me all that on Monday. She said, no, I mean since... Oh, I used to go out with a florist.
Did you?
Well, we had an arrangement.
Just the one florist, was it?
No, there's a whole bunch of them. Yeah.
Who was your favourite?
My favourite, I'll tell you, my favourite was Rose. You know why?
No.
No punchline. That's what I liked about her. She was that kind of woman.
Yeah.
She didn't agree with humour of any kind. She thought it should
A bit
be
like me, really.
a bit like you, yeah. Well, you're more a laugh a minute than she is. She was. Sadly, she's no longer with us.
What happened to her?
She.
Did you surprise her?
I did. Yeah, I did surprise her, especially on her birthday. I surprised her because I remembered. That was a shock. That really was. That was a shock. Do you know what was a bigger shock?
What?
I took her up the Arsenal as a special treat. That was a shock. Yeah, because she thought we were going to a football match. So even I don't approve of that joke. So,
I don't get it.
you don't get it. Well, she didn't get it either. So,
No.
yeah.
Well, she wouldn't if you went up the arse.
Yeah. No, that's. Thanks for your help. I think we're going
to introduce Al.
Yeah, we're going to introduce our friend Al Mandolino. He's been learning to play the mandolin for the last 84 years, and he's nearly got the hang of it. So he's going to show you what he's learned in the last 84 years, and he's going to show you that. No pressure, Al. Just do what you do. Fucking showing off now. Yep. Did you write this one yourself, Al?
Nearly got through it.
It's very catchy.
I thought you were going to play a tape.
Yeah, I was going to play a tape. Now that you mentioned it, I
Put me on the
should have
spot,
done. Yeah, it's all. Oh, I've had enough. Turn it off, for fuck's sake. Turn it off. Oh, God. Oh, thanks, Al. That was fantastic. I don't know how you did it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for 2 minutes of Pat and Math.
Hi, Shaun.
Catherine, hello. And hello once again to all the boys on B-Wing. Ciao Bella. And welcome to 2 minutes of Pat and Math. Now then, Catherine, a question that has haunted sages through the ages. What becomes of the broken-hearted?
Oh, well, I think that, depending on where they were, if they were in hospital, probably go to the morgue.
Yeah.
I think everywhere else, I mean, they just lie down, don't they? They just sort of like lie there and just keep going on and on about it. Just all the time. They're like, oh, I'm so sad. And you're like, grow up, you fucking spag. You know?
Yeah. Sometimes I see a side of you that frightens me, Catherine.
Really?
Yeah, only sometimes.
Thank
I mean,
you.
some of them, obviously, become accountants. And, yeah, I mean, that's a desperately lonely place to be.
Yeah, I mean, we all feel sad for you, but not sad enough to do anything.
No, or to stop being cruel or
No, because
mocking me.
no, it's fun, you see.
Yeah, because it's like you're punching up but down at the same time. Because I guess yeah, very good. Yeah, because it's like on the one hand we appear to be successful,
Mhm.
on the other hand we're just empty shells, a sort of monument to the broken dreams of youth.
Yeah.
Oh, that was pattern math with cogitations on the universe and what it is. Yeah, so this is going all right, isn't it? Oh, we haven't lost money yet. That's a bonus. We haven't lost money. For instance, the Croydon Council managed to lose £500,000 a year once running the David Lean Cinema, so we're doing better than that. Well, in fact, Croydon Council has no money at all now. It's just lost millions and millions and millions. Ava says it's the only council in the world to be financed by to be bailed out by the IMF now. So anyway, it's going better than that. It's going better than my haulage business. I decided to go into haulage. People said it's the wrong time because of the increasing bureaucracy from Brexit and all the port delays. But I'm in it for the long haul. We could be. I just think society's gone bizarre, hasn't it? There's no consequence to anything anymore. Like, why would anyone? How are prisons going to work in a world where everyone's locked up? I mean, there's no punishment for anything anymore. We're going to have to reinvent things. We're going to have to do something to make prison worse. So I thought about this. I had a great idea. I thought, well, what we could do is everyone's stuck at home watching television. We could just make the television programs on in prison really bad. So that would deter people. So in my new regime, I think that everyone in prison should only be allowed to watch religious programs from the 1980s starring Sir Harry Seacombe. And that will be my regime. And there will be a drop in crime because it will be my way or ITV's highway. Good. So that's a joke. I think I'll put on the next act because this is going as well as Piper Alpha Monopoly. So can we have some love and appreciation, please, for the next act? Mr. Matt Lebon.
Hello. Good Lord, how are we doing? Actually, marvellous to be here. As I see you've hyphenated my name there. It's kind of all one word, but doesn't matter. It's just absolutely extrinsically lovely to be here tonight. And I'd just like to say a little bit about myself. I was born in the Raj, 19A Kensington High Street. It's an Indian restaurant. Never actually been to the country. I was a middle child of 3-course meal. Arrived just after the starter. Hence my father's confusion when he mistook me for the main and inadvertently shoved a serving spoon down my gullet. If ever there was an incentive in this world to draw one's first breath, that was it. I screamed a bloody house down. My father, brilliant man, and immediately sprung into action and realized something was terribly wrong, sent me back to the kitchen for more seasoning, where the waiters rubbed my hair with coriander and shoved a plum in my mouth to shut me up and served me back up with a complimentary dish of onion bhajis and a side salad. My mother, dutifully, instinctively at my side throughout the whole ordeal, call it maternal instinct or the fact that she was just still joined by the umbilical cord. I don't know. She was drunk, lush. Who knows? But there you go. Shortly after that, they packed me up in a crate sent me off to Eton College. Actually, it was non-Eton College, where I was raised for the next 10 years as a fag by Jenkins C minor. So there you have it. Oliver Kilferry, raised, born with a silver spoon in my mouth, raised with a plum in my mouth, and schooled with a prefect's cock in my mouth. It never did me any harm. It was on the bum the whole time. Okay. But anyway, so my father. My father, he, of course, he doesn't get out much these days. Well, not since they put him in Broadmoor. Sentencing was a bit harsh, I felt. 20 years for holding another man's hand in public. All right, so they never found the rest of the body, but give him a break. He's old. If he could remember where he put it, he would tell you about it. Of course, he always had this thing for Lisa Stansfield, the 90s soul diva, who had such hits with "I've Been Around the World" and I Can't Find My Baby. Personally, I think if you're gonna have children, don't lose them, and if you're gonna lose them, don't write a song about it, Lisa. 2 words: bedroom tax. Of course, I think that's about it, really. I can't think of anything else. Is that too short?
No, it's fine.
No, absolutely perfect. You can't be too short. You can only be too long. La, 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 la.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Matt Lebon, and now we've spelled his name properly. We've removed the hyphen.
Well, it wasn't a hyphen, it was just a little gap, wasn't it? Just a little gap.
A little gap, yeah, it's a little gap.
Well, we've taken the gap out, isn't it?
I know.
You're a lovely, 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 lovely lady. Just the kind of girl I'm looking for. If you ever decide you want to have a baby, I'll be round there knocking at your door. You've always been a lovely, lovely neighbour. I see you when I'm working in me shed. Don't you worry about me wife, I know she's still alive, but I'm the kind of man who likes to plan ahead.
I've often seen you sniffing round me back door.
Oh, yes.
I notice when you're polishing your tools.
That's me.
You seem to be a lovely, lovely person.
Oh, yes.
But then I've always been a bit of a fool.
Well, you're a lady, aren't you?
You must know that I have a little husband.
He's tiny.
I have to say I think it's time he went.
So do I.
It would really ease me mind if you'd be ever so kind, 'cause you're a lovely, 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 lovely gent.
Oh, yes. I've heard you're very masterful at baking.
I am.
I'm partial to a bit of spotted dick.
Me too. You'll have to nibble on me flaky pastry.
Oh, yes.
They say me sausage rolls pack quite a kick.
So I've heard.
I'm sure that you can help me with me husband.
And I'm certain you can help me with me wife.
If they should accidentally die, I could pop them in a pie.
They'll have never tasted better in their lives. Bastards.
We could be so happy in the future.
Though I've never been one for too much sentiment.
But I'm a lovely, 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 lovely lady. And you're a lovely, 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 lovely gent. Yes, I'm a lovely, 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 lovely lady. And you're a lovely, 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 lovely gent.
No, don't. No, you mustn't. No, don't. Please, thank you. Oh, God, not flowers again. Oh, no. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your headline act of the evening. What we're having here this evening, on this beautiful evening, when Donald Trump is fucked off out of it, the one and only Pam Ford. Thank you.
You ready, Pammy?
Can I take the headphones off?
No. No.
I'll keep them on,
You-
right. Fucking hell. Right. I'm not, I'm too old for this stuff. Now, hello, my name's Pam Ford. I've got a bit of a dodgy accent because I grew up in Australia. Anyway, Pamela, how did you get into comedy? Well, you see, I used to live in Kent and I was a pub landlady in a little pub in a village in Knockholt, which is in between Biggin Hill, Pratt's Bottom, Bromley, Sevenoaks, in that little Bermuda Triangle. And one night, some of the blokes from my pub told me about a comedy night happening down the road at the pub 4 miles down the road in the town near Orpington. So, because they were driving, and it was what you call in England a busman's holiday, we went down there and they proceeded to get me absolutely rat-assed on my favourite drink, which is rum and coke. If they've got it, I'll have Bundaberg. If they haven't got it, I'll have, oh, I didn't push that button. I'll have Bacardi or Captain Morgan, something like that. No. So this is in the main bar of a pub, and it was on a pallet in the centre of the pub. Not like it's up one end or anything, no lights, nothing. And these three, what I now know were new acts, went on and did their shit. And I was pissed, and I was going, they're shit, aren't they? God, they're shit, aren't they? Shit. And then this bloke got on with his guitar and his very quiet voice and did his strumming and his shit, and it was Bryan Damage. And I was just screaming. I was wetting myself laughing. And I'm saying to all these blokes that I'm with, going, oh, he's bloody funny, isn't he? Those other three were shit, but he was bloody funny. So they're going, go and talk to him, Pammy. Go and talk to him and tell him that you liked his stuff. And so I went up and I went, hello. I thought your stuff was really funny. I think you're really funny. I wish I could do what you can do. And he said in a very quiet voice, all you got to do is get 5 minutes of jokes, and just try that 5 minutes out and go around, do 5 minutes, and then build it up and build it up. And that was Mr. Bryan Damage. That's Mr. Bryan Damage. And I'm guessing that was 21 or 22 years ago. So it's his bloody fault you've got my fucking dial all over the place, all over the country doing gigs. He was my mentor. He encouraged me to do it. And when I sold the pub, and the first time I had a 10-minute on a Thursday at the Comedy Store, and about 6 blokes from my pub came up to see me at the Comedy Store on a Thursday night, do 10 minutes, and they paid like 15, 20 quid a head to get in, and they heard my material. They were in the material. I was slagging off something rotten. They deserved it, bastards. So that's how I got on there in comedy. Now, with this lockdown, I've got to tell you, I'm not very fucking happy about this fucking lockdown. Didn't mind the first one, not too bad. I got to tidy up Marie Kondo me undie drawer and that. But now I'm fucking sick of it. But what have you been doing with your time, Pamela? What have you been doing with your time? Well, let me tell you, for the last sort of 6 years anyway, I've been working part-time, 3 days a week, part-time. I've got 2 cameras going, so I'm doing a double look. In a residential care home. Now, the reason I do that is because they're all older than me and I feel frightfully young being with them, and they call me girl. And what I do, I'm not a carer, I'm not a nurse, I don't wipe bums. Freak out. No, I'm an activity coordinator or lifestyle coordinator. What that means is I'm to make their day go faster. I will do a quiz. I will do bingo. 2 fat ladies, 88. 2 little ducks, 22. Quack, quack. Legs, 11. No, it's a lie, not a full house. Anyway, I do all sorts of activity. Oh, and I've been I burn CDs and play old songs for them, and I learned songs that I never knew existed, old songs and whatever. And they don't like war songs now. The age group that we've got now, they like things. They like a bit of Cliff Richard, Summer Holiday. They like Elvis. They like a bit of Sinatra. Tom Jones, or they get damp for a bit of Tom Jones. They don't like that very much. But so I was thinking, like, when you us guys, when we're in a care home in years to come, what sort of music, what sort of songs do you think we'll be singing along to? And I think I'll be singing along to Oasis Wonderwall myself. That's going to be one of my favourites. I don't think Adele. No, it's going to be Oasis. Who else will it be? I'll Take That. I'm going to be doing a bit of Take That, that's for sure. Now, working in the care home, I've learnt a lot about old people, because I didn't have my grandparents around when I was younger, because I lived in Australia and they lived in Birmingham. Yeah, Birmingham, England, not Alabama, Birmingham, England. So I treat all of my oldies in the care home like my grandparents. And I love them, adore them. So now, I've got to look at my notes now because I can't see what I'm doing. Right. Yes. So I've met some very interesting people, because I used to treat them with like kid gloves and walk on eggshells all around them. And I thought, well, hang on a minute. They've had sex. They've smoked a fag. They might have smoked a spliff. I don't fucking know. But everybody's got a life story, right? So I have this project I have to do about people's life stories. And I remember a mate of mine in Australia, he's a dickhead, but anyway, said about 6 degrees of separation. Well, I've actually found 4 or 3 degrees of separation with some of my oldies in the care homes, about famous people who I admire or I just love. For example, one of the guys in my care home, Leonard, one day I was going through all the DVDs and asking everybody in the room, what DVD do you want to watch? And I had all sorts. I had The King and I had the Rat Pack and all this. And I pulled out this one which was Matt Monro in concert. I said, do you want to watch Matt Monro in concert? And Leonard said, yeah, he's a mate of mine. I went, what? He said, he lived in the same block of flats of me and I got him a job at the bus garage. I was the driver and he was the conductor. And I said, what, Matt Monro? And he said, yes, Matt Monro. And he said, we used to go to the social club on a Friday and Saturday night, and he had to give him 4 pints before he had the Dutch courage to go on stage and sing. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? This bloke knew Matt Monro, born free as the wind blows, whatever it is, you know. So that was amazing. So that's 3 degrees of separation, me, Leonard, and Matt Monro. Boom. Now, another one was this old guy called John B. I'm not allowed to say their names for data protection, right? And he had dementia, and every day was like a brand new day, like Groundhog Day. And I'd have to greet him and say, hello, John, how are you? What do you used to do as a young man? He used to play the trombone in a big band back in the day, you know, back in the day. I'm going to say the 40s or 50s, I'm going to say, right? And I said to him, oh, have you ever played with anybody famous? And he said, well, I've been on cruise ships around the world. I've travelled all around the world with the big bands. He said, but I did play with a fellow one time, but you're too young lady, to know who it is. And I said, well, tell me who it is. Tell me who it is. And he said, I played with the guy who played trumpet called Louis Armstrong. And I'm going, what the heavens above? Louis Armstrong? He said, yeah. Now, I've got to tell you, I love Hello, Dolly, right? And that's where he plays and sings in Hello, Dolly. I've played that film 50 fucking times. I want that dress. Look at me glitter. I want that dress that she wears in that. Hello, Pammy, well, hello. Pammy, it's so nice to have you back at Bryan Damage's gig. He hates parodies, but anyway. So there you go. John B played on stage with Louis Armstrong, and Louis Armstrong has his white handkerchief and always dabbing his brow. And when John did his solo on the trombone, Louis Armstrong said, you got a great pair of chops on you there, man. And every day I'd go in and start the conversation, he'd tell me about Louis Armstrong every day, and I loved it. So I moved from that care home to one 5 miles down the road, and there's a gentleman there called Paul T. Can't say his name because of data protection. And every day I go in and assist him to eat his lunch, and I make him cups of tea. And he's got a massive stack of jazz CDs, right? Jazz CDs. Now, I don't like jazz. My dad loves jazz. I can't stand jazz with the shibby. I can't stand it, right? But they had normal stuff like Kenny Ball and all that shit, right? Anyway, I was telling him about this gentleman I used to look after who played trombone on this cruise ship with Louis Armstrong. So I was going through this CD collection, and I found a CD with JB John Barnes, not Joe Biden, Joe Barnes, on the credit on the freaking CD. 3 degrees of separation. How amazing is that, darling? Now with lockdown, I've not been doing any yoga, or I haven't learned a language. Joe Wicks, he's good, but put him on mute, love. He's good to look at, and you go, But when you hear his voice, everything dries up, love. He's too squeaky voiced like Beckham is terrible. So my name's been Pam Ford. I've done 10 minutes and 25 seconds, and I haven't heard a noise from Krysstal. I was going to put my egg timer. She used to have a timer, a cooking timer on. She used to have it pear-shaped. I love you all. I want to see you all at my birthday in September. Love you. Bye.
Yay. Mr. Miller.
Trying to unmute him.
I muted myself, sorry. You said I'm on next, but am I introducing anyone? Because presumably that's the end.
You are, yes.
I
you
didn't
will
know
be
what...
introducing Matt and Pat, but I thought that we need some more wisdom from you before Matt and Pat. Pat and Matt.
Wisdom.
Not Pat, Matt and Pat,
well,
Pat and Matt.
You know, have children, that's my wisdom. I think everyone should have children. Because
You
we've got an
have to
aging
speak up.
population.
You've got to project.
Oh, we've got to project. Oh, right. So we should have children.
Yeah, you've got to project.
Yeah.
Speak to the back of the room.
Right. All right.
Sitting there fucking mumbling.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I thought we should have kids because there's an aging population. So if you young people don't have children, there'll be no one to pay your pensions. That's what they tell us, the politicians. Also, they don't tell you at the same time the children that are being born are also getting fatter and fatter. So if you work it out as a volume to surface area ratio, there's as many children now as in 1945. By 2150, there'll just be one enormous Billy Bunter child the size of St Paul's Cathedral, and they'll take, and it'll take over. That's why people had to camp outside St Paul's Cathedral to stop that happening. That was nonsense, wasn't it? The Occupy movement. I mean, I'm an old lefty, but I think there should be minimum qualifications for protest. Like you should have to be awake. if falling asleep in the middle of the city of London was a form of political protest, I did that in my office opposite the Bank of England for about 10 years, and nothing happened to that economic neoliberalism. I just got made redundant. That was a bit of real material, wasn't it? Am I introducing Pat and Math again?
Two more minutes.
Two mins.
Here's 2 minutes of Pat.
Hi, Shaun.
Catherine, hello. And a cheery hello, especially to all the gentlemen on B-Wing. Thank you for the picture postcard. And welcome to 2 Mins with Pat and Matt.
Yeah.
And the question that's been sent in by a viewer is, are friends electric?
Yeah, mine are certainly. Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah. I got an electric toothbrush.
Oh yeah.
In my Easter egg.
In an Easter egg.
Yeah. And we've been getting along very well. Yeah, I brushed my teeth so vigorously that my gums bled.
What a lovely story.
I know, right?
What's
It's a
his name?
beautiful tale of friendship. Pardon?
Is it a he or a she? A toothbrush.
Don't be stupid, it's a toothbrush, for fuck's sake.
Sorry.
What about you? Do you reckon they're electric?
Well, when I first read this question, my initial thought was, The Golden Girls. Do you remember the Golden Girls?
I think I've seen that one. Yeah, it's where they get pissed on, isn't it?
That's one of them. Yes, that's one episode.
Yeah. Good one.
Yeah. You know, I think maybe they might be electric. Like really weird, frightening old lady robots. Waiting until you go to sleep. And then coming out and drilling into your brain through the screen. The TV.
Why would they make that?
I don't know. That's what I just don't know. But they did. I think
Is that why you are like you are now?
I think it might be.
Did you say it's in Dystopia?
Yes, that's right.
Where the hell is Dystopia?
Well,
I wonder, I know where Fitzrovia is.
Yes, we all know
There
that.
used to be a comedy club there called Pear Shaped in Fitzrovia.
Yes, well, if you'd let me get a word in edgeways.
Pear Shaped. It's just a favour to come in. And we hope that you'll be coming back again to Pear Shaped in Dystopia. Every Wednesday night at 8:30. Every Wednesday night at 8:30.
Yes, hello.
Hey! That is it, man. That's it. It's the party is over, and we didn't make it a hat trick after all. It didn't start off as a disaster like the previous two episodes. But you never know, it could finish a disaster, you never know. Ladies and gentlemen, the very first act you saw this evening was...
Brian.
Brian who?
Lewis Bryan.
I'll do that again, hang on.
Sorry, Lewis.
Yeah. Brian Lewis.
Brian and Krysstal.
Brian Lewis.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very first actor you saw this evening was...
Lewis Bryan.
Lewis Bryan! Where is he? Where is he? Is
I haven't let
he
him
still
in
here?
yet.
Wait, let him in. Where is he?
Oh, well,
Yeah, there he is. Look,
There he is.
look.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, it was Lewis Bryan. Thank you.
Yay.
First act of the evening. And second act of the evening was... hang on. It was introduced by... Who was it being introduced?
Mr. Miller, Anthony Miller.
Yeah, Mr. Anthony Miller. There,
Oh, it's Shaun.
showing us his forehead. Yes.
Ball patch. Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah,
For your
it was Shaun for the
contribution.
fashion.
Sparkling
Yeah.
contribution.
What do you mean showing us his ball patch?
Yeah.
Well, he was.
That's not a patch.
Well, you know.
That's not a patch on a proper ball patch. Right. So, Anthony Miller, ladies and gentlemen, who every now and then looks at the camera. I don't know why, I don't know what it is. He seems to have something happening off there to the right, but
Yeah.
it's okay. And a door that opens and heckles him. So, that's okay. It's not often you get heckled by a door, is it? Yeah, so that's Anthony. Put the fucking thing up
Well,
so I can see
you're
it.
asking me.
I can't see
You don't
anything.
need to. You're meant to ask
And,
me. Isn't it?
all right, who did Anthony introduce?
He introduced Shaun
Oh,
Philip Hutchings.
Shaun Phillips Hutchings, ladies and gentlemen. SHUN-PHILIP with one L. It's bad enough spelling somebody's name wrong once, but doing it twice in the same fucking thing. Well, wasn't it? I hate words, don't you?
So then we had a bit of Al Mandolino.
Al Mandolino. Al, show 'em what you can do. There you go. That's why we didn't let him play too much. So that's, but don't worry, there will be more Al Mandolino. There are recordings on the way. And loop back. La, 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 la. So, and what happened after that?
We had 2 mins of Pat and Math.
2 men of Pat and Math. They've never been here. They've never showed up. They just send in their record. Well, they don't. I'll just nick them off YouTube, but with permission. and they're brilliant. And I mean, 2 minutes.
Perfect.
Every
Perfect.
compere's
Perfect.
dream. Yeah.
And then we had Anthony again.
Yeah, Anthony Miller. No, you don't have to keep going.
And then he introduced Matt Lebon.
What?
Introduced Matt Lebon.
Matt Lebon.
Lebon.
Don't keep getting people's names
Lebon.
wrong. They don't like it. Alright? Matt Lebon, ladies and gentlemen, with no interval between Le and Bon. You were marvellous, Matt. You were marvellous. And especially since you were born in the Raj, wherever that, in Kensington.
Right.
Yeah, fucking hell, this is taking ages.
Then we had the marvellous Pam Ford.
Pam Ford, ladies and gentlemen, Pam Ford. Now there is a true professional.
What a pro.
It doesn't take it takes more than no audience to stop her from fucking talking. She could talk the hind
Exactly.
of a kangaroo. The one and only Pam Ford, ladies and gentlemen. And that is a true story. That Pam and I met in this pub and she came up and she was roaring at me, you fucking bastard. Well, I'd like to do this shit. She's frozen again. She's frozen again. See, that's when you come on, with just a fucking cheap old iPad.
And then we had a second 2 mins of Pat and Math, and then that's it.
Yeah, second 2 minutes of Pat and Math.
So we are officially ended.
Yeah.
But we're in the green room. If people want to hang on and listen to a load of comics whinging and moaning, please feel free.
We could actually, in the this tempting fate, for fuck's sake, we could, in the green room, we could actually have a look at what the comments were. I had them turned off. I had them turned off straight away because the first bloke said, well, actually, he's fucking laughing. Hang on, he went,
no, it was a joke. It was a joke.
Oh, hang on.
Why do you hate Trump?
He said, why do you hate Trump? And I thought, oh, fuck me. I've got another bloke with, and a heckler with a gun.
Ball sack on toast.
Ball?
That's his name. Juniper smoke, ha ha.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Well done.
All right. Who the fuck is ball sack on toast? Anybody?
That's me.
Anybody know him or her?
Yeah, okay, well the comments were fairly positive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is that Eric Sykes? Oh, that's Michael Ayres.
Yeah.
You've been heckled by another comic. Who did you say was Eric Sykes?
Matt, probably.
Huh?
He's the only one that looks like Eric Sykes, isn't he?
Yeah. Do you look like Eric Sykes, Matt?
Me?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Do I look like Eric Sykes? Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know.
No.
I thought you did.
I haven't seen the rest of them. Protecting me. You're protecting
I
me.
know it probably is. It probably is me if that's a comment that someone looks like Eric Sykes. Yeah, no, I'm the only vague resemblance, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and this is you, Krysstal. We're the only ones with hair.
Don't be so stupid.
So that's it.
So well done, everybody. This one actually worked this time.
Yeah.
I think
That's
it
good.
helped not having everybody streaming at the same time as well.
Yeah, and all that
now,
stuff with the headphones and microphones, it all. I had to listen to last week. Fuck me, it was nuts. Just distortion.
Oh.
But only when we were singing.
Oh.
That's all right. It actually worked. I think I might carry on. I might keep going with this. Oh.
The songs you did sounded really good. The guitar sounded smooth that as well.
Yeah, your guitar.
Okay, hang on, who's muted?
It wasn't wobbly at all.
Nobody's muted.
Wow.
And
It's got the wobbliness out of it.
He is talking.
It's good.
Are you talking now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Said your guitar sounded good.
Oh.
It wasn't wobbly at all. All the wobbliness had gone.
All right, I can't hear anything.
Okay.
We had last week.
Well, I'm going to disappear because I'm just.
You're disappearing. All right.
Yeah, I feel I've survived.
You have survived. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might see you next week to try and survive
I
again.
can't hear anything.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, she's over. She's at a funny angle.
You've gone sideways,
Why have
though.
you gone sideways?
I don't know.
That's a first.
You turned your iPad up sideways, long ways,
I
portrait.
haven't touched anything. Fucking hell. It can only happen to me,
I'll
can't
just have
it?
to sit here and look good. Oh, thank you very much. You were all wonderful.
Take the mics out then.
Yeah, we can try it. See if it'll work.
Oh,
All right, cheers for the gig and everything. And
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
See if this.
No problem.
and
Extremely strange to do it.
There
maybe see you back at the actual physical venue some point. I don't know.
I'll tell you what.
Hopefully, I work in the care industry and I'm getting tested 3 times a week, so enabling me to go to work. I've had my first jab, get my second jab in 8 weeks' time. It's pretty bad out there. I am hoping it may not be right for Easter even, but it's going to be a project where you may not be able to go inside for gigs and you still might have to sit 2 meters apart, but you may have to show your card to prove you've had your 2 shots.
Yeah.
That may be a thing.
Yeah. Depends how you take that one.
I know that the Poodle Club, Karen Novak, has already talked about that, only booking acts and having punters in who have had both the shots and can show their proof of vaccination.
Yeah.
Really?
But she's got a very small, her little tiny place only holds 40 people if they're sitting shoulder to shoulder. So she'd have to halve that.
Yeah.
But the world will it won't be the same again. Like, I'm so glad. My first job leaving school was a hairdresser. I would have gone bust by now. And my second profession was being a pub landlady. I got out of the pub before the smoking ban come in, knowing what that was going to do to the pub industry. And I'm just so lucky I'm out of it now. But it's very strange times, and there's the new normal is not going to be like the normal we knew in our younger days. Can I ask you all, when you estimate being 80, what music would you like played in your care home? You've got to think of what you were listening to between the age of 16 and, say, 21.
Sisters of Mercy.
Bowie?
Yeah, Sisters of Mercy. Pam?
Nolan sisters.
I remember.
The Nolan sisters. Yeah.
Pam, do me a favour. Turn your iPad round like that.
I don't know how to.
Just pick the fucking thing up and turn it one turn. Yeah, there you go.
Right. Okay,
Fantastic.
Granddad. Fucking hell. Come on, tell me what music you would have when you're old.
Look,
Blondie.
40 years ago, when I was playing in pubs, I had people coming up and going, "Oh, you don't want to play all that fucking rock and roll and fucking Buddy Holly shit. You don't want to play that. You want to play Frank Sinatra or the one you mentioned."
No.
Fucking, yeah. And
No,
I
but-
thought,
no, but
I
look,
remember thinking,
when you were. Go on.
it's all right. She just blew her nose and you went quiet.
No, what the people in my care home are
Yeah.
picking songs that they listened to when they met their husband at 21. So they're
Yeah.
now talking about 50s and 60s music.
Yeah.
Right, so on
Yeah.
the comments, Stephen Rice says The Clash and Devo.
Yeah, no, Rick.
And who said Alien Sex Fiend? Who's that?
Emma Daniels.
Emma Daniels says Alien Sex Fiend.
Emma Daniels, I know Emma
Freebird,
Daniels.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, I know Emma Daniels. Hello, Emma.
Come on, and you boys, tell me what you would like.
A bit of Rick Astley, I think. A little bit of.
Oh, never gonna give you up. Yeah, Rick Astley.
a little bit of yeah.
When do you want to end the broadcast?
Emma Daniels.
When I got divorced the first time, the first guy I met in a nightclub in Surfers Paradise was an English guy standing at the bar, and I heard his accent, and I got damp. I was moist. And I was clicking my fingers to the music, and this is good, isn't it? He goes, do you like this tune? And I said, yeah, it's great, isn't it? He said, do you want to dance? I said, oh, yeah. And he said, go on then, I'll mind your bag. I went out with him for 3 years.
I remember him. And Mark Penfold Simpson says, great show tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Catherine Hines is a bit more critical. She said, not a bad gig.
Oh, brilliant for Pear Shaped.
And so Emma Daniel says, hello, Shaun.
Hello, Emma.
Give us the bad reviews. What are the bad comments? Are they like real damning?
No, there aren't any.
Great seeing Pam, it's being ages. That's Mark Penfold Simpson.
Oh, love him. I don't know who
it's
he is.
your next husband.
Everybody can look at the comments on the side.
Is it?
I can't see him.
Yeah, you can all see the comments.
Can you see the comments on the right hand side? No, they can't.
I just turned my iPad up the right way. How the fuck do you think I can see the bloody comments, love?
I can't see the comments.
Now, Bryan, that gig that I met you at.
Oh,
was
yeah.
I think it was a mirth control gig because you were headlining and the others were all open spots.
It must have been mirth control if I was headlining.
I thought you said birth control.
Exactly. Not birth control.
After birth control.
I've never forgotten it, I tell you. But
I remember you came. I've never had after a gig, never had a lady down the front. You were fucking marvelous, you fucking. I want to fucking do it. So,
yeah, but the thing is,
that's why I spoke to you quietly. I said 5 minutes.
About 15 years later, we were at the sauna down underneath Fitzrovia, where it looks like a sauna because it's got all that pine around.
Yeah.
And you were about to introduce me, and you were going in your usual exuberant manner. First time I met this woman is many years ago, and you remembered the fucking thing. You can't remember what you did yesterday, and you remembered what you did 15 years ago. Well, 22 years ago. Mate, I couldn't believe you remembered.
Dementia. That's dementia, isn't it? Long-term memory.
I work with it all the time. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Bryan and Krysstal, I love and adore you two.
I remember you, Pam, in Pear Shaped about 15 years ago.
Do you?
Yep.
Yeah, because Shaun used to be Shaun Ridgway. Do you remember Shaun Ridgway?
I must be very.
He was quite good looking then.
I was then, yeah.
Did he have hair?
Loads of it.
You called me cute. That's why I remembered you. It's true. I was like, oh, tall lady called me cute. Ooh.
Well, you see.
All right.
I'm dating much younger and younger now because, darling, I look fabulous for my vintage.
You do.
And I've got to show you something. I've got to show you something. This is me when I thought I was ugly as fuck. Are you ready?
Go on. Oh. Yeah, there you go.
That's before I had braces.
Right.
My friend Ruth remembers you too, Pam. She used to drink in your pub. I don't know if she's watching tonight.
Ruth, not Ruth.
Tall Ruth.
Looks like Margot from.
Yeah, she's a friend of mine.
She looks like Margot from Good Life.
Yeah, that Ruth. She's a firewoman or fire.
Please send her my love and tell her I'm writing a book about the pub.
Okay, I will. Yeah, she might be watching. I asked her to.
Right, tell her to poke me on Facebook.
Hi, Harry Hines from County Kerry.
Oh, hello, Harry.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah. Tralee. Harry Hines is in Tralee now. He used to run a pub down in King's Cross, and I played there. Oh, I don't know, about 20 or 30 or 40 times. It was great, lovely. I was telling somebody, this is also to do with the governor of the Fitzrovia Tavern. I was telling people that I've been working in pubs for 40 years, and I've met about 6 governors who weren't cunts. Harry is one of them. And so is the governor of the Fitzroy Tavern. So just some people are just very nice, and other people, fuck me. Oh.
Somebody typing. We can hear you typing.
Who's
Whoever
typing?
It is. I'm gonna end the live broadcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's 1 hour 15 now.
Did we do the? We did, yeah.
We did, Robert. So I'm ending the broadcast, but you can stay in the green room.
Brian,
thank you
there was
everybody
somebody
who
on the
tuned
telly
in.
this week with a
Yeah.
surname
And same
Egan.
time
Were
next
they related
week.
to you?
Hang on a minute, Pam is talking.
What?
Say that
Sorry.
again.
I'm just asking
Say
Brian,
that
was
again.
somebody on the television this week who had the surname Egan talking on the news? Was that someone related to you?
What was he talking about?
I don't know, but he was
There's
gorgeous.
a
If you're
politician
related to
called
him,
Egan.
hook me up.
Say that again.
It's about
The end of
flirting and
broadcast.
gorgeous. Why don't you hook me up?
What was he talking about?